Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rotary Club of San Francisco, the second oldest Rotary Club in the world. So thank you for being a part of our history today. I am Christopher Weissman. I am the president-elect of the club, and I am speaking here on behalf of Mary, our 2021-22 president. I cannot live up to her, but I will acknowledge she created all of these slides and prepared me very well to entertain, host, and inform you today. Today on our agenda, we're going to welcome guests and visiting Rotarians. Then we're going to share some good news with a 20 for 20. We have some upcoming events, a weekly recap of all of the things that have been happening, a great new member induction, and then hopefully have time. So, any visiting Rotarians in the room? Thank you, Peter, for being the microphone guy today. And thank you to all of our service volunteers. Visiting Rotarians, how about on Zoom? All right, I guess no visiting Rotarians or guests today. I think we have a guest in the room next to Anne. Thank you.
We have a guest here, a return visitor who came to a luncheon, a couple of weeks ago, I guess, Mary Fermi. And welcome back. We're glad to have her here. She's considering being a member.
Well, thank you. And I hear this is your third meeting today. So if you have any questions, please let me know after the meeting. Again, thank you to all of our volunteers that make today possible. Registration, thank you, Gary Dales. Also, thank you, JT. Special shout out for Mary to helping me find the key earlier. Our scribe, Nancy Graydon. Nancy, you have great penmanship. Thank you. Nat, thank you for taking all of our photos today, including one where I look pretty bad, but that's okay. Our mic holder, again, Peter Logan, thank you. Our greeters, Maureen O'Shea and Margaret Miley, thank you for greeting and making everyone feel so welcome. And our Zoom co-host, Scott Plikin. So thank you, everyone, for making our meeting run smoothly today.
Hey, Christopher.
Quote, yes.
We're just seeing your introductory slide and it's not in presentation mode, it's in editing mode.
All right, if my technical consultant, Bob, could assist. I'm not used to working on the Mac, so thank you, Bob. So another volunteer today, Bob, thank you. Everyone in the room today is eating a delicious lunch. Looks like a Caesar salad. How's everyone enjoying it? Let's get some feedback from John Mathers. What do you think of lunch today?
Oh my God, it's good.
It's delicious. Delicious lunch. Nancy, I just saw you take a sip of the iced tea. How's that going?
Refreshing.
What is the lunch?
A wonderful lunch. Can we see the slides now? Okay. Scott, our Zoom host, is just connecting with Bob. I feel like I'm doing a wedding right now. Maybe, but I'm having fun.
Scott, can you see the slides now?
are working on a borrowed Mac to do a special presentation today. Usually we use a PC, but now all of you know some of the technical advances that we do for our meeting. Of our newer members, before March of 2020, we never want to do a special shout out to Casey bringing us to this level. All right, and now I'm going to go back to the meeting, but I hope you enjoyed the Christopher Weissman commercial break. Thank you. Thank you for the round of applause. Quote of the day today: your task is not to foresee the future, but to enable it. So
We're still not seeing the right slides. We're seeing what looks like the presenter's slideshow. I think the wrong screen's being shared.
Share screen. That's it right there.
That's the right slideshow. Why don't we just leave it there?
Okay, so can I hit the full screen? Okay. That's what I had.
all right. Is this good now? You can speak to the room.
It's good enough. Let's go.
Great, let's go. All right, everyone in the room, quote of the day again: your task is not to foresee the future, but to enable it. So go after your dreams, try new things, and work to achieve. That's how I see it. And I love trying new things. I took the Rotary Master Pearls classes last year, and I learning to work towards your goals in life. So now I'll do a couple share your good news 20 for 20. So thank you, Peter, for running the mic. Anyone good news in the room?
John Mathers, I want to challenge all of the people that are going to the International Convention. How many people here are going there? Come on. Okay, one. That's it. And Christopher, of course. I hope so. And anybody online, I challenge you to do a carbon offset and to provide that carbon offset to our club for projects in the developing world. I'm putting in $452 for the trip that we took to Italy for the car, for the hotels, for the actual transportation. And Andres Vera is going to be collecting that as part of the RCAT that we have for our club and looking at projects in the developing world where we need to put our energies. 10% of all of the wealthiest people in the world produce 50% of the carbon emissions. The 10% poorest, or the 50% poorest, 1% of the carbon. So we need people in developing world with projects. And one way of doing it is for us to collect some money and then put some projects together. So Andres is going to be collecting that. If you are interested in doing the offset for Houston is $50, and that includes travel and lodging. And you can make the check payable to Rotary Service, but please let them know that it's for RCAT, and Andres will collect the money and we'll look at projects that we can do.
Thank you, John.
It's actually, I've never been known for speaking 20 seconds.
All right, I'm going to do a Zoom person now. Professor Chen, you have the floor. 20 seconds, please.
Hello, I'm Professor Jing Chen. Is it okay I do two? Is it okay I do two?
Go ahead.
Okay. The first is the good news. We bought a new house in Florida. its Temple City area. It will be complete in a couple of months. So we do these moves for the safety, family, community, and good children education. So I need to try to rebuild my business there. Yeah. And the second, it is not a good news for Chinese in Shanghai. I would come from Shanghai. My family, my two sisters still there. China is still completely locked down. So it has been 2 months and no one knows when it will be finished. And people lack of food, cannot go to hospital and cannot work. This is communist regime dictator Xi Jinping's madness. You cannot imagine like this. Hope this regime will finish soon and China will get better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Let's do one more on Zoom, Andres.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you via Zoom. My good news is that, as you all know, I work for Wiki Education, and Wiki Education, in honor of Pride Month, is engaging 20 people who identify as LGBTQ plus and their allies to add knowledge about gay and lesbian people to Wikipedia. And we are providing this class for free to the participants of the course. So hopefully by the time the course is done, they'll have added about 20,000 new words about LGBTQ subjects to Wikipedia. Less than 1% of the biographies on Wikipedia belong to gay people, and we're working to change that. Thank you so much, and that's my good news.
Thank you, Andres, and thank you everyone for sharing their good news today. I'm sure many of you have other good news, so be sure to share with each other during table talk. We have some great upcoming Rotary 19th, lots of fun at Phil's Coffee, 1110 Ocean Avenue. That's not long enough, Mary. I'm thinking it'll go a little longer. It's always fun talking with the president if you are able to join. Next up, we have our Rotary meeting at the Hotel Nico with speaker Diane Stark on the SF Marin Food Bank, its challenges and goals. Many of us have volunteered at the food bank over the last few years, so this will be an opportunity for us to get to better understand and know the organization. We have our club social coming up on May 25th. I did sign up for this. I hope it goes well and I don't get trapped there forever. There are still a few spots, so if you're interested, please come and join us. It would be wonderful to have all of you there so I don't get lost and trapped. Next event is something President Mary brought to our club this year. It is our distribution of safety alarms for Asian seniors. You can see some of them, and this will be a great opportunity to meet some of our community that we help support, May 28th and June 18th from 9 to 1. This usually goes by pretty quickly, and it's a lot of fun, and it will be at the Pacific Renaissance Plaza in Oakland. It's limited to 4, so a small group, so if interested, please sign up sooner than later. Looks like I have another visitor.
We just need to.
Lots of commercial breaks today, but it's okay. Hope everyone's learning, and you can always ask me questions after the meeting about any of our upcoming events. But lots of good ones. I've had an opportunity to volunteer at a number of our service projects this year, and I've really gotten to know all of the communities that we support. And for those that are newer members, try out a service project. Try something you haven't done before. If I can garden, you can garden. If I can lift fruit, you can lift fruit. So it's a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of great people. And I've also gotten to know many of you over the last year and a half of service projects. That's fine. Thank you. I'll move it ahead. All right. I'm just getting these slides back to where I need it. So our next service project will be at the ARC, a partner we've worked with for a long time. And fun fact, it's something that brought me into the club. I volunteered at the ARC before I was a member of Rotary Club. And if you are a driver from 4 to 5:30 on Monday, June 6th, you can pick up prepackaged meals and deliver them to the clients of the ARC. So definitely a lot of fun, and you will meet a lot of wonderful people. Our next event, a newer project for this year, is with Catholic Charities, which will be a lot of fun on June 4th, 9 to 12. And Darlene's not available to talk about it, but if you have any specific questions, please reach out to Catholic Charities. But you'll assemble essential needs, emergency hygiene kits, and nutrition kits for all of their community. And Catholic Charities supports people in Marin, San Francisco, and San Mateo County. So very similar to our Rotary district, that it has a good base of community that we support. I might do a meeting next year with no slides. I am not kidding. No slides. Our next Rotary meeting on Tuesday, June 7th, will be at the Hotel Nico, this room, another delicious lunch with Barry Posner. And he'll be talking about the 5 practices of leadership and how they make a difference. If you speak with Lynn, he can talk to you more about Barry. Lynn's not here, but please reach out if you have any questions on Barry. But there are 5 practices that he's used for the Ryla and Alps project. So this speaker relates a lot to some of our bigger service projects that we work with. Our next service project, this is one I just did not too long ago, is Homeless Prenatal Program. It's led by Emily Borland, and it's a great project, and you assemble diaper kits for homeless pregnant mothers, which is a very fulfilling opportunity. And last time we did this, we did all go out after and had some fellowship time as well. But there's going to be fun. If any of you have attended in the past, we have a wonderful annual celebration picnic. It's led by Sunny Singh. So it'll be a lot of fun on June 11th. You can go to SF Rotary and register from 11 to 3. You can bring your dogs, your kids, your friends, people you met on the bus on the way there. Not all of you, but a few can always do that. But it's a lot of fun, and we'll be having some great food and some great fellowship time with each other. And it's also an opportunity to celebrate President Mary and her Rotary year. We do have some fun things coming ahead. Just as a reminder, you can still register for the Houston International Convention. I will be there. John's already spoken a little bit about Houston. But it should be a great opportunity for me to learn and connect with other clubs around the world. I've attended a number of Rotary conferences already this year, and you do meet a lot of other Rotarians. And I recommend everyone here and in Zoom to attend a district event or possibly Rotary International in Houston. If you're not able to go to Houston this year, next year it will be in Melbourne, Australia. So it should be fun. And Sunny will be going next year for sure, and maybe I'll go. So if you go to Houston this year, it'll set you up for Australia. Just saying. I think there's a lot of excitement in the room. I can feel it. This past weekend, we had a great event, the district conference. Many of you were here, and thank you to our many club members who volunteered to execute the event. She's not here today. She may be joining on Zoom, but special thanks to Rhonda Poppin for co-chairing the district conference. Rhonda, for those of you who don't know, is a past president and a very active member in our club and our district. You can see some fun photos. You can see one really bad one of me, so it's good to pay attention. I almost deleted this from the slides, Mary, but I thought I'll be transparent. That's me. And it wasn't even my drink. I was bringing it to a volunteer. but it looked like I'd already had a few drinks, but I swear I didn't. I was a responsible volunteer and a good representative of our club, even though I have that very interesting expression. But you can see some other members. That's again the co-chair, Rhonda for those, and Emily Borland. Here's some other members of our club. Let's see. I think I finally figured out these slides. Some of my two favorite volunteers here. Okay. And then now a welcome to our new members. So I'm going to bring Nancy Graydon, VP of Membership, to welcome our new member, Angeline Preza, and her mentor, Jane Mermelstein. So please come up. All right. Just over here. Nancy, you're okay? Nancy's great. Welcome, Angeline. Thank you. Fellow Rotarians, we are the second oldest Rotary club in Rotary, celebrating 114 years in the heart of San Francisco. And we're part of something special. New members constantly reinvent who we are. They bring ideas, inspiration, energy, and creativity. Today, I'm happy to announce that we have a new member joining us, Angelina Preza, again, whose mentor is Jane Mermelstein, who will be unable to join us today. But don't worry, I'll be standing with you, and I will be here for support as much as you need it, as will President Mary and our club. So please take a minute to tell us something about yourself.
I think the first time I stepped into one of the Rotary luncheons, everybody was so friendly. Dan came right up to me, introduced himself to me, and Mary gave me a call and introduced me, wanted to take me to coffee. And I just felt the energy. And over the months, I mean, I just met so many lovely people like Anita, who just invited me to brunch. And I met a gentleman I'd been out of touch with for 5 years, was a partner of someone that she knew, Todd, who's a new member. And so it's just amazing the way everything connects. And I just think what the company I work with, whose mission is about climate change, ocean conservation, education, bringing the message to the world, and the fact that you've opened up a new committee on climate change recently just kind of fits everything that I want to do personally and professionally. So I just really want to thank everyone very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing a few words. So the guiding principles which apply to all Rotarians are especially important to hear as we welcome new advocates for building peace in the world. Those principles are: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I have this next to my computer every day, and I look at that as I'm making decisions in life, not just in Rotary. Angelina, you have been chosen for membership in this club because we want you to be a leader in your vocation and your community. Thank you for sharing with us. We want you to exemplify the spirit of Rotary in your business, social, and private life. As a Rotarian, you're not only joining our club, but part of a network of 35,000 Rotary clubs around the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary carries with its expectations of good character and honorable dealings, whether business or personal, and living up to the ideals of Rotary. To provide a symbol of our membership, we'll be making a contribution of $26.50 for your Paul Harris Fellowship. This is the sum first ever donated to the Rotary Foundation. This is a symbolic gesture. This is the first step in gaining the distinction of being a Paul Harris Fellow. Nancy, will you please give our new member Angelina her Rotary pin, our anniversary book, and our certificate indicating that the club has made a gift in your name. All right, Angelina, please respond to the following 3 questions with "I will." Will you do your best to develop close personal relationships with your fellow Rotarians based on trust and understanding?
I will.
Will you work with your fellow members in making a difference in the world through good works?
I will.
And will you strive in good faith to participate in the life of the club?
Yes, I will.
Wonderful. Well, as you engage with the club, remember you are not alone. As a club, we promise to do our part to make you feel welcome and help you realize your personal goals through our club. Fellow members, please rise. Please affirm our support for this new member, Angeline. Will you support and actively help our new members become successful Rotarians by saying, "We will"? We will.
We will.
And thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone on Zoom as well. Thank you. Please be sure to talk to Angelina on the way out and get to know her. So I've allotted, thank you, President Mary, for a little bit of time for table talk. So please enjoy about 5 minutes to connect. And again, please talk to Angelina on the way out. All right, so enjoy the next couple minutes.
So my table topic was share something about you that
Well, time to continue our table talk from earlier.
Yeah, our table talk, what I wanted to do was to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
President
So my table
Mary,
topic,
we hear you.
which Christopher didn't mention, was share something about yourself, something fun that we don't already know about you. So let's start with Tim.
Okay, can you hear me, everybody?
We can hear you.
Andre might know, but I just got a new license plate and for my car, and it's a Banjo Man.
Oh, nice, nice.
So this is the first time I've gotten plates like that, but I love playing the banjo. Probably the blues harmonica even better.
Oh, nice. That is something that we didn't know about you. Banjo Man.
Banjo Man.
How about you, Jessica?
I was trying to think of something. The first things that come to mind would be I have a sister named Apple, which people usually think is pretty fun. And she was a pachyderm keeper at like the National Zoo and the Fort Worth Zoo, which means she took care of hippos, rhinos, elephants for a really long time until she was injured by one of those elephants pretty badly. So that's a fun one. I also dropped out of college despite being a very nerdy person to skateboard semi-professionally when I was like 20.
Wow. That is something we didn't know about you. How about you, Jeff?
I have an addiction for audiobooks.
Oh.
I when I'm not working or hanging out with family, in my commute, I listen to audiobooks. When I'm making dinner, I listen to audiobooks. When I'm hanging out in the backyard doing weeding, I'm like, and I love like fiction, crime thrillers. I can't get enough of it. And it all started during COVID. And it's like I go from one to the next to the next to the next.
Nice. Well, we're gonna have to share some of our titles because I love the attorney crime type of fiction. So I love that. We're gonna have to share our titles, your favorite titles. How about you, Scott?
It's hard to think of things that people don't know about, but maybe so. My oldest friendship is with the girl I knew who lived across the street from me, and I'm an honorary member of that family. So we consider ourselves brother and sister. And one of the things we often do is live stream with each other on Zoom when we're cooking to show off what we're making.
And you just live right next door to each other. You can actually go over there if you want.
No, when I was a kid, I lived across the street from her. Now she lives in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So we don't see each other very often, but we cook together.
Oh, nice. That's really nice. How about you, Ed?
I don't know if I shared with everybody, but my daughter Maddie is got accepted to the University of Pennsylvania, so she's going to go there starting in August. And my wife and I will be free birders. No kids in the house, so we'll be making trips to Philadelphia more often. And
what are you gonna do with yourself?
what's that?
I said, what are you going to do with all that time to yourself?
I don't know. You know, we're talking about going skiing for a month, maybe in the winter. But who knows? I think that's part of the fun. Is, you know, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We'll have to take some advice from, you know, you other free birders out there on what to do.
Nice. How about Casey? I saw your photo. Are you on?
Yeah. Well, now that the Warriors are in the conference finals, very exciting. A little known fact, when I was living in Chicago, my buddy worked as Steve Kerr's agent. And when he hit the game-winning shot for the Bulls, he got to throw out the first pitch at a Cubs game. And he asked me to sit with him and his wife in the booth for the whole Cubs game. So that was quite exciting.
Ooh,
Go Steve Kerr.
That's fun. How about you, Rhonda?
Well, some folks that were in the club when I was president might know this, but I met Bill when we were in college. He was working as an engineering co-op at NASA Langley Research Center in Virginia, and I was working as an administrative assistant co-op. And I was the admin for Katherine Johnson when she was working her last 2 years as a mathematician. She was the lead person that was honored in the Hidden Figures movie. And I planned her retirement party, and her office was beside mine. It was pretty cool watching her in action.
Oh, cool. I saw that movie. It's such a great movie. Andres, did I get you yet?
No, but I don't know. I'm pretty much an open book, but I do. I make micro sculptures. I like to work with clay, and I make little mini sculptures out of clay, and then I destroy them, so they only live temporarily. I take pictures of them, and then I get really good joy from destroying them. So.
Oh, fun! You must have loved Play-Doh as a kid.
Yeah, and I love it even more today.
Very nice. How about you, Lisa?
Good afternoon, everybody. I think one of the unique things about my background is I used to be, let's say, junior Olympic level trampolinist. So I did trampoline and, did gymnastics, but that piece of equipment's kind of moved out of competition over the years because of the danger. But I was not quite Olympics, but right next to it level. And so that's a little known fact. And Ed, when you're looking for places to look around the University of Pennsylvania, let us know. Scott and I both know a lot of that stomping ground. So I'm happy to help with places to visit and great things to do.
Thanks, Lisa. I'll take you up on that.
Nice. And Frank, how about you? Frank, are you there? Not there. How about Dr. Chen?
Okay, so when I was born, it was 1960. That was that period. China went through 3 years study because the Chinese Communist regime, the Mao Zedong, put every people into a movement that is called "make a stew by yourself." So the farmer don't plant the food. That's why it cost 3 years study. When I was born, it was very hard. But I went through much more hard. Is very surprisingly, I was born at home, so not in hospital, and very cold. So it is like very shock to my family. And when I was born, I lost my breath, almost like it's died. And people say, you know, I already died. And my mother just, you know, so sad and keep me and warm me up. They don't let me go. And then after about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I start to breathe again and cry. That's why I survive until now. Maybe,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why given the strength, you know, I can go through everywhere. I see the, you know, the difficulty for me is not that hard.
Yeah, yeah, you see life differently now. So I'll share mine. Something you guys don't know. Don't judge me for this, okay? When you see a need, you fulfill it, right? So I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So my sister and I, Jenny, you guys don't know Jenny, we saw a need for women to have clean fun in San Francisco. So we were the producers of the Chippendale show here in San Francisco, and we filled a gift center with 500 fun-filled women for 2 nights. It was so much fun. And now look where they're at. They're in Vegas playing now.
Just clean fun? What is this?
Chippendales?
Wait, I don't know what this is.
You don't know what Chippendales are?
No.
Chippendales are male dancers. They don't take every... Look at his shock on his face.
Why? And why wasn't I invited?
No judgment, Mary. Good for you.
They were male dancers, but it was such great fun. And the funniest part was hearing the male dancers' point of view behind the scenes. It's not all glamour and everything when they're on stage, but it was just so much fun. So it was such a success. We then became the producers for the Australians Thunder from Down Under. We did that as a side little gig, and we had some.
That is amazing, Mary.
That is amazing, Mary. Yeah, and please invite me next time. Thanks.
I know. You know what? It's been, I think it was at least maybe 15 years ago. And on the day that we've had these events, we still get phone calls about where is it going to be this year.
So you used to produce it?
We only produce a couple of shows.
Wow. Good for
We brought them into the city and filled the room.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So Robin, how about you? Something that we don't know about you.
Something that you don't know about me. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Everybody knows everything. Well, so here's the fact. Jack and I got married, and 9 months later, we had a grandchild who is now 53 years old. So these grandchildren range from 53 to 7.
Wow.
Wow.
So anyway, that was always fun going to reunions and being the first grandmother.
Robin, you're not a day over 60. What's going on?
So stepkids make that happen. It's always fun.
Oh, it looks like Christopher should be bringing up the speaker. This speaker I found, I saw some of her videos and her writings from nextdoor.com. She's the expert about coyotes, and I thought, what an interesting talk that would be. So hopefully she's going to be really good.
And he won second place out of all the hundreds and hundreds.
Mary Lou, Tim again, and I just wanted to say that yesterday was my birthday. 7 is my lucky number. It was 77, and so I don't forget my anniversary. We were married on my birthday 7 years ago.
Oh, congratulations!
That's a lot of 77.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And how many years anniversary is it?
It's actually 84 months. We just go a month at a time because we'll never catch up with everybody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring back the meeting. So it is my great pleasure to introduce, known throughout San Francisco for 15 years, the Coyote Lady, Janet Kessler. Please give her a round of applause.
Do I have this on? Yeah. Okay, I am Janet, and I'm here to talk about coyotes. But first, I want to welcome everybody, and thank you for having me. Before I begin, a little more about myself. As stated, I guess it hasn't been stated yet, I'm a self-taught naturalist who has been documenting coyote behavior here in San Francisco every day for the last 15 years. More specifically, I look at their individual behaviors, their family life, and their behaviors around pets and people. And I always begin by figuring out who each coyote is as an individual. I tell them apart by their faces. Each is unique, as you can see in these photographs here, and the differences run deeper into their various personalities. So for example, some are much more curious and inquisitive, whereas others are much more cautious and careful. Some are more playful. Can you turn it down? More playful, gregarious, and love to tease, whereas others are more serious, watchful, and withdrawn. Then on top of these differences, their evolving development also distinguishes them. So they all start out as pups on territories in highly social situations, and then most move on to becoming interloping loners without a territory and without a social network. So it's a big change for them. Eventually, many find mates and become parents, defending their own turfs. And then at some point they get old and they lose their mates and they leave or lose their territories. So each situation engenders a different set of behaviors, all of which go to define who the coyotes are and to distinguish them. In addition to their behaviors, I also look at their population dynamics, where I've mapped their territories here in San Francisco and their dispersals, and I confirm my visual findings with DNA at UC Davis, where I am collaborating in a citywide population study using scat. So that's what I do and a little bit of how I do it. Here for this presentation, I'll be using my own firsthand observations, my own maps, and my own photos to tell you about them. And we are going to cover 3 points in 20 minutes without any wiggle room, beginning with their population structure and distribution. We'll move on to family life, and we'll end with stewardship and guidelines for coexistence. So let's see, that's family life and that's coexistence. So starting with their population here in San Francisco, coyotes are not wandering around haphazardly or multiplying wildly as some people think. And here is a rough map I've worked out based on my own visual recognition of individual coyotes, showing how the population is divided and situated into discrete family units on distinct territories with fairly exact borders running from between 1.5 and 2.5 square miles per territory. That's about half the size of a territory in the wild. Only one coyote family and no other coyotes appears on any of these territories. Family members routinely trek through these areas, which include the surrounding neighborhoods, as they, among other things, mark their territories in order to keep other coyotes out. Rarely You might see a dispersing outsider passing through as quickly and inconspicuously as possible. And here is a dispersing youngster on the right being repulsed by a territorial owner on the left. Keeping, oh my gosh, we're missing a slide here. But keeping others out preserves the food that is on that territory just for them, which includes, among other things, gophers, roadkill, amphibians, insects, fruit, birds, and garbage when it's available, but they prefer natural foods over the garbage. They are opportunistic eaters, so they will grab cats when they are opportunistically available. Please don't let your cats roam free. So their population is also limited. Okay, somehow this got in. That was the last slide. And here are, these are the foods that a coyote eats. These are on their territory. They keep outsiders out because they don't want the competition for these foods. And over there is the cat that you don't want to roam free. Wow, let's see. So they're popular, let's see. So parent pairs own vast territories and keep others out, thereby limiting the population. This is what their territoriality is about. Some of these territories have been occupied for 12 years and longer by the same coyote family, offering a lot of stability to the area's population. In addition to territoriality, their population is also limited because only the alphas in any family ever reproduce. And here's how that happens. A mother wallops her yearling daughter physically and visually to either disperse her or to instill fear so that she won't reproduce. Please notice the steely staring, and then there is physical intimidation going on. So coyote population is self-regulating. Younger females are referred to as behaviorally sterile. Killing them disrupts this process, leading to disorganization, more litters, and an increase in the population. And this comes to you from a 1972 study by F.F. Knowlton. Pups are born just once a year in the springtime with a litter size ranging from 1 to 7, averaging 3 with a fairly low survival rate. They don't live in dens except for pupping. Then, just like bird nests, these are outgrown and abandoned. And here's some dens for you to see under logs or under rocks. And here's some dugout dens. And yes, sometimes they even den under some of our porches. Youngsters normally disperse sometime around their second year. They're driven out by a sibling or a parent, as in this photograph here, or they just pick up on their own and leave when their time clocks tell them that it's time to go. Dispersal is a very dangerous time for coyotes due to cars. Cars are their chief killers in cities, due to hostile coyotes, as we've seen, and due to unfamiliarity with the terrain. So they usually search for new homes at night when you are less likely to encounter one. And here are some dispersal directions and final destinations I've worked out. A few of those coyotes might fight for a territory after they disperse within the city when they detect weak alphas, and that happened in the Presidio about 4 years ago. A lucky coyote might just find a vacated niche, and that happened at Bernal Hill about 6 years ago. However, most seem to move south and out of the city, as noted by the Presidio ecologists, because most of the territories within the city are already taken. This next map details one coyote's months of crisscrossings in search of a territory, even out of the city and back, in search of their territory. And this next map, her journeys end in the Presidio. Note, there is no more wandering. She found her niche and sticks to it and keeps other coyotes out. So those last two maps are from the Presidio. Of 15 coyotes tagged and collared over a 3-year span, all were killed by cars except one. So few people think about this, but coyotes get old. They get hard of hearing, hard of seeing, arthritic and tired. Their lifespan in captivity is 14 to 16 years. However, in the wild, I'm told they live only 3 to 5 years. In San Francisco, I've known several who reached 12 years of age, but few reached that milestone. As for injuries and diseases, I have seen skin diseases, as you see here, intestinal parasites. I've seen wounds from hunting, and here's a wound from a territorial battle. I've seen limps due to having been chased by dogs. And here is a lost eye. I do not know how this happened. And rat poison weakens immune systems and kills. So life is full of hazards and limits their lifespans here in San Francisco. So that covers their population and life cycle. And now let's talk a little bit about coyote family life. A defining characteristic of coyotes is their family life. They are highly, highly social. They famously mate for life, with rare exceptions. A family usually consists of a male and a female, and usually pups and or yearlings who soon leave the area. And here depicted is such a traditional family. It looks like a pack of adults, but it is not. It is a family with 7-month-old pups. There are variations on this theme. Here is a single mom and 2 sons. Her mate was killed by rat poison, and that position was never refilled. Here is a territorial loner who remained alone for 4 years before her strapping fellow came along. Here are 3 siblings who remained together over a year with no alpha pair over them, though there was a hierarchy between these. And lastly here, families may recombine when there is a death of an alpha or when there is a divorce. And in this particular family, there was a divorce, unusually. So these coyote family units consist of related individuals and are not like packs of dogs, which are unrelated individuals and very often act like gangsters. On the contrary, coyote families are orderly and organized. There are hierarchies and there is discipline. Here, one is disciplining another by grabbing its snout. It's a little bit like a hand slap. In fact, even their days are somewhat organized. After sleeping during the day, usually in separate locations, their activity generally begins in the evening at their rendezvous, which is a nightly event where they meet and greet and interact. There can be lots of excitement and squealing at this time. It's a little bit like a party. And then they trek through their territories beyond the parks where they hunt, patrol, and mark their territories. Being in neighborhoods is not wayward behavior. It's perfectly normal, and it serves to keep other coyotes out and limit the population. They care for each other through mutual grooming, like removing ticks from each other. And they care for family members in danger or in pain. Here, a female prods her injured mate to move away from the area where dogs might continue to chase him. Dogs chasing him had resulted in a broken ankle. They cuddle and greet each other with wiggles and squiggles all the time. They tease and horse around. Here, one coyote slipped under another, lifting her on his back, where she dangled for a moment, so they can be very funny. They love to play tricks on each other. To the left, mom teasingly swipes a rat from under her son and runs with it, inspiring a game of chase. Another trick is to spy on and then steal something buried by another coyote and hide it somewhere just for yourself. So they are known as tricksters, and maybe this is why. There's lots of excitement when they play. They love a 3-way tug of war. And as they run around rambunctiously, they'll leap over each other and even onto each other in their excitement. Hop on pop. Dads are important in coyote families. Both parents raise the young. This is extremely unusual in the mammal world. At times there's friction in families, just like in our own. Here, two brothers who used to be best buddies are now squabbling. One or both will disperse soon because antagonistic behavior is not tolerated for long in coyote families. Coyotes can act rejected and sad when they are taunted or excluded or shunned. Their feelings can be intense and are very obvious when watching them. Communication is another way of interacting. Coyotes communicate constantly through eye contact. They're always aware of each other's moods and intentions. Most of their communication is silent through body language, as in this photo here. The flip side is that facing away purposefully blocks out communication, say from a taunting sibling, which is something we engaged in as children, right? Communication includes sounds. When they are noisy, they are very noisy. And these sounds range from sing-songy friendly howls, yips, whines, and squeals, to upset growls, snarls, hisses, and barks. That's your female. They actually modulate and can sound very conversational. Two coyotes can sound like many more due to the variety of sounds they make. Also, unique howl patterns differentiate each coyote, and I can distinguish some of the howls in the distance. And I have never heard a coyote howl at a kill. That's a misconception. They're quiet and secretive when they hunt. And we've barely scratched the surface here. There's hissing, there's purring, there's whining, there's screeching, on and on. So that covers their family life. And now let's move on to stewardship and guidelines for coexistence. I've been limited to 20 minutes for this talk, so I've brought handouts as a supplement, which are at the ends of your tables. As you've just seen, coyotes are very wrapped up in their own lives. They just want to be left alone, and that's the main thing you need to remember about them. The biggest urban coyote issue is pets. Coyotes and dogs do not like each other, and small pets look like prey. There are 3 triggers causing a coyote to react to your pet. Number 1 is proximity. It offers both coyotes and pets opportunities to interact, usually negatively. Please always walk away the minute you see a coyote. Secondly, very small pets are vulnerable as prey. Coyotes do not know who is a pet and who isn't. Small pets especially need to be supervised, including in your yards. Please remember that coyotes can jump a 6-foot fence. Thirdly, their territoriality, which we've talked about, is behind most of their antagonism with dogs, as it is with other coyotes. Again, territoriality ensures the resources are just from themselves on that territory, and it serves as security for raising their pups. How then do they enforce their territoriality? They do so through messaging, and this is how they message dogs. Through eye-to-eye contact and facial expressions, through body language, including scraping or kicking the ground angrily, hissing and barking, and they may up the ante by charging and nipping the haunches or back legs of a dog, cattle dog fashion, in order to get that dog to leave. This is messaging. It's not mauling. They want the dog to leave. Most dogs, however, react to coyotes by barking at, lunging, or chasing them. Please leash and walk away to prevent an escalation. And please remember that dogs communicate in their own subtle ways to other dogs and to coyotes, most of which is below our radar until it's too late. You can minimize negative communication by keeping far away and moving away from a coyote when you see one. A coyote could follow a dog out of simple curiosity, to monitor it, or to escort it away from an area. A very small dog may be seen as prey. Again, just keep walking away, pick up a small dog as you go. You may try scaring that coyote off if it comes critically close, but the main point is to move away from that coyote. In a totally different vein, too much love is just as harmful for the coyotes as a culture of fear. Feeding, coupled with befriending, approaching, attempting to communicate with them, these all break down natural safety barriers, causing a coyote to hang around and beg, to chase cars, especially when fed from cars, or to approach people. We humans shape who the coyotes become by our behaviors. It's best to love their wildness at a distance, and I tell people maybe just out of the corner of your eye. So small children are a big concern. Coyotes are unpredictable, and so are children. It's not a good combination. Coyotes react to their quick motions and their small size, as they do, dogs react in the same way to small children. So please keep children far away, no matter how docile a coyote appears. This is actually no different from keeping a child away from a skunk or a raccoon or an unknown dog who is much more likely to bite a child than is a coyote. The good news is that issues are very easy to resolve with minimal effort. Practice complete avoidance. Always leash up the minute you see a coyote and walk away, picking up a small dog as you go. It's best not to allow pets to roam free in coyote areas. Prevent your dog from chasing coyotes. An alpha could return the favor, chase back, and message the dog with a nip. Keep food out of your yard if you don't want coyotes visiting. And again, the handout goes into how you can do that. Stewardship and safety guidelines are two sides of the same coin. What's good for the coyotes is good for us and our dogs. Again, the guidelines are simple and are in the little card handout that I put on your table. Lastly, risks of injury from a coyote are extremely rare. And here are some comparisons for you. 5,000 people a year get killed crossing the street, whereas only 2 deaths of humans from coyotes have been recorded ever in all time. One of those deaths was a child whose neighbor had been feeding the coyotes. 1,000 dog bites a day send people to emergency rooms every single day of the year, whereas bites and scratches from a coyote to humans amount to 17 a year for all of North America, almost all due to breaking up a dog-coyote encounter, hand feeding, or to a very young child where there's been feeding or around a den area. So pets need to be protected from many dangers. Cars actually kill 5.4 million cats each year. Cars kill 1.2 million dogs each year. Dog bites constitute the 3rd largest injury to pets. Potential danger from a coyote is relatively minor. Simple precautions can avert almost all of these issues. Okay, I hope I fit that into 20 minutes. We have covered where coyotes are in San Francisco. They're single families on large owned territories. We've covered who they are. They're highly social critters, family critters, and we have covered how to get along. Please stay away and walk away. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and wonderful presentation. I think we have a minute or two for some questions. Any in the room?
Hi, thank you. Question is, we have a lot of turkeys in our area, and you have turkeys here?
Yeah, we do. Really?
Yeah, there's a turkey at the microphone, but I don't have any feathers. Are they a good prey for the coyotes? And they seem to roost at night. They roost up above, but there seems to be the transition from the day into the night. And we often hear the howling at coyotes at sunset. So maybe your comment.
I would think that they could be caught, but I don't think they are. We have coyotes. We've had coyotes here in San Francisco in the same parks as, we've had turkeys, I'm sorry, in the same parks as the coyotes, and they have not been caught. If you go on YouTube, you can see some fascinating videos of a group of turkeys approaching a coyote, and of course the coyote running away. But of course, that's a group of those turkeys. As for one, I think they would just jump up into a tree. I have not seen, they do catch birds. They do catch ducks. They do catch any number of ravens they can catch, and crows, definitely pigeons. So they're able to. Maybe the turkey has to be injured or something to begin with. It's hard.
Let's take a question from Zoom. President Mary, I see your hand is raised. Is that for you or one of our Zoom attendees?
That's actually for me. Thank you so much, Janet, for presenting this information. My question, I have two questions. First one is about how many coyotes are currently in San Francisco these days?
So each of those territories I showed you, and it's 14 to 20, has one family. We have about 80 to 100 coyotes in San Francisco. During pupping season, this number accordions out, and then as dispersal comes, it goes back. So it's a living and breathing population that is never at one point.
Okay, thank you. And second question is, what made you decide to study coyotes?
I met a coyote.
Oh.
I met a coyote that was so intelligent, had personality, just within the 10 to 15 minutes that I observed this coyote. It was mind-boggling. This coyote was aware beyond its own species. And I tried looking up information, and there really wasn't any on the internet. And so I kept taking that same walk, pre-dawn walk, and I would see the same coyote. And I decided, well, you know, I can study these animals. And so, yeah, that's what did it. I met my first coyote.
Great.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, President Mary. Question in the room. Mr. Herzog, the floor is yours.
I have a couple of questions. As I understand it, coyotes don't really have any natural predator.
In this area, their biggest predator is what they have diseases, but calves, yeah.
But speaking from experience, we have a home down in the desert. We used to have hundreds of rabbits. The coyotes have totally destroyed them. There are no rabbits left. And the coyotes have multiplied multiple. And you move into Northern California or into the mountains, and the deer population in the last 50 years has declined dramatically. The coyotes are the #1 predators.
No, that's not true.
Okay, tell me who the #1 predator of the deer are, if that's not coyotes.
Human beings.
Who?
Humans.
No, forget that. Natural predators, I'm talking.
There are diseases out there, but coyotes are not taking down all the deer. That's not happening.
I didn't say all the deer. They're the #1 predator
No,
to deer.
they are not. I will disagree with that. All right. So they will take a weak deer now and then, but they will not. They have not reduced the deer population. That is a myth. You need to look into that. That's not true. Also, you're not having a whole lot of coyotes multiplying in one area. They are territorial. You only have one family per territory. So in your territory, you're only going to be having that one family of individuals. That is it. That's what their territoriality is about. If they're eating rabbits, it's probably not all, you know, a rabbit is very hard to catch. So it's that's not what's supporting the coyotes. I would look into other things that are also getting rid of the rabbits. Now, exclusion could be happening, as it happened with foxes here in San Francisco. Coyotes did not eat all the foxes. They took over the territories and the foxes left. So that also is something that's going on.
Thank you. We have time for one more question. We'll take it from in the room, so thank you.
I'm just curious, are coy dogs a thing? And at what degree would a coyote or a dog need to be hybridized in order to be domesticated?
Coy dogs are much less numerous than a lot of people think. A lot of people come up to me and say, oh, look, my dog is part coyote. And it's not. It's for one thing, they have different reproductive cycles. A dog comes into heat, you know, twice a year. Coyotes come in only once a year. It's difficult. It does happen. There are coy dogs. Eventually, I think they pretty much stay wild and then kind of blend into the wild population more than anything. You know, it's illegal to have to keep a coyote as a pet around here. That I know of, not that prevalent. It's just not going around as much as a lot of people want to believe. They want to believe their dog is half coyote.
Well, thank you. This has been wonderful. And one of our missions for Rotary is the goal to eradicate polio. And in your honor, we will inoculate 100 children against polio. So, thank you. Well, the meeting is officially concluding. If you have additional questions, please feel free to stay. Our speaker has said she will be here for a few more minutes. So again, thank you for joining. It's Tuesday, it's Rotary, and enjoy the rest of your day.